Hello? Testing, testing, one, two, three. Okay, I think it's working. Let me just change some things up here. Okay, I I think it's working now. For some reason, my default mic just wasn't set to pick up the stream. For some reason. But I'm here. But anyways, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to an unexpected Fall Guys stream at the moment. Uh, one second, let me just add my Discord since it's been a hot minute since I last streamed. Okay, should be added and all that. So we're good now, I think. But good evening, good afternoon, everyone. And welcome to pretty much, well, I am doing a Fall Guys stream just to chill and all that. I am going to play rank, which you can see on the screen. There is, ever since I stopped, well, it might have started before I stopped streaming, but there is a rank mode in Fall Guys now, which I was going to stream initially, but that ended up not happening because I was really focused on grinding for Evo and all that, which was this past weekend. Which, yeah, I'm still around and all that. Just been busy doing other things. But I have made some time to do other things on the side as well. But yeah, just figured I can at least do this stream since I'm not really in the mood to grind at the moment. I'm also still waiting for Sagat to be available later today, which he should be soonish. Later tonight, which is also why I wanted to stream now. Sure, I'll buy this. I have too many coins not to do that. I don't know what these are. Okay, I know this, but everything else, not really. Amber Wasp. This makes me think of Ant-Man, but probably not it. But yeah. But yeah. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. Hmm. Maybe that's a little too loud, so let me turn it down here. Hopefully that'll be fine, but we'll see. But yeah. So basically the plan today is really just to stream, play some Fall Guys rank for once since I haven't done that yet. Which, yeah, rank knockout. There are these other things around still, but all that said, actually, I might try this. Well, I guess I'll try this for a bit. Oh no, not this. Yeah, I'll try this for a bit. And then do this. But yeah. So, the main goal is just really to, like I said, play Fall Guys, talk about what I've been up to, how Evo was for me since I was there this past weekend, and just overall talk about future plans for this stream, which I'm not quitting per se, but like I said, ever since Street Fighter 6 came out, streaming has been a lot less of a priority for me to do versus before. Also, let me just make sure the category is under Fall Guys now, which it should be. But let's just see if anyone's playing this. Otherwise, I'll probably just go straight to rank for Street Fighter 6 for Fall Guys instead. Okay, now I don't want to play this mode anymore. I get stuck with this. But let's see how it goes. But yeah, hope everyone's been well though, all things considered. But I know I haven't heard from a lot of people in a while. Oh. Just need to make sure no one gets me. Which, granted, that's a long time. That's a lot of people with tails, I'll admit. Because I'm not sure where the people without the tails are. Okay, there's one. There's another one. So many people have tails, though. Well, except that person. That person behind me. Yeah, alright, I guess I'll touch rank after this, depending how long this mode does take. I don't really plan to stream for too long either, by the way, just because Sagat comes out tonight. Ken's also out for Street Fighter 6, so I do sort of want to play around with, or Ken's out for Fatal Fury, so I do want to try that. Hey, yo, JCat, welcome to the stream. You see a bunch of guys falling? Just a few for now. Just a few. How's it going though, JCat? Hope your day's been well. Damn, I haven't played this mode in a while either. Alright, you're playing Street Fighter 6 right now? For sure, for sure. I considered booting it up, but I'm just gonna chill till Sagat's out tonight, at least. At least in my time, just so I can lab him and all while the game's under maintenance. But I'll be grinding after. I just feel like I need that time to chill for a bit. Especially after Evo and all that. I did play him a bit at Evo, but I do have... At least I know what I want to try out of curiosity. I do have something to work towards, at least. Or experiment with. Okay. I do want to learn him at the very least, because I like how he felt when I tried him at Evo. Even though I am also going to have to be on the rank grind to get those blue colors, since blue is my favorite color and all. I didn't really... Well, I got to try them, but it was pretty much set to first to 3 at the venue. Or at the demo stations. And there wasn't really a whole lot to there wasn't a whole lot of room to experiment with. So I wouldn't say I learned anything too substantial. Just trying out spots this for the first time and all that. And not to mention, I guess in my case, it didn't help that I went to the stations twice, and then the two people I was playing against, not to speak of how good or bad they are per se, it's just they were playing against me, who, you know, where I am as a player, all things considered. So it was sort of me just beating them up while I was trying to figure out stuff. Whether I figured out the stuff or not was another story, but I was sort of beating them up. But I do like how he feels, though, all things considered. But I wasn't going to try to get in line over and over to just try out Sagat when he's coming out pretty much tonight. And then Ken and Fatal Fury, I pretty much went on Saturday morning. First to like do some kind of challenge at the SNK section, where if you won 2 games in a row, you would get a special prize, which I got something with Geese Howard. And then they had other stations where they had Ken available, which there was a row that was somewhat empty. And then, so I was just like experimenting with Ken then. I didn't try anything else because Invincible Versus I wasn't really too interested in. 2XKO, I wasn't like too desperate to try out, but the lines got pretty long when I went. Oh, God damn it. Yeah. God damn it. This might suck. Okay, never mind. Yeah, 2XKO, it's because I know I'm alright in the closed beta, which is basically their way of saying the game's out. Only on PC for a bit. I did a Marvel Tokon. Every morning I kept getting to the Evo venue. The line was always pretty much near the Evo entrance for Marvel Tokon, so I wasn't even gonna bother trying to get in line for that. So at least for the first 2 days, I was pretty much focused, aside from Saturday morning where I did check out some booths and such, as well as Friday when I did my laser engraving for my Victrix. I was pretty more or less focused on the tournament itself, with the games I could enter and all. We should go on. There's always next year. Which I'll try to go next year. It's just that it was like, well, I'm glad it's going to be in June instead of August now, but unfortunately, the timing's a little off just because my job sort of gets busy around pretty much summertime. Maybe I'll be able to take the time off if I ask, but we'll see. Am I not tired? 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 Oh, what's up, Boo? I flew back yesterday night, so I actually had time to rest after, thankfully. Me, Charlie, and Harry pretty much flew out around the time Street Fighter 6 started. Not to mention, I'm just chilling at the moment, too. But how's it going, though, Boo? You got back earlier today, right? Which, hopefully your drive went well. Hopefully it was a smooth drive. That's also why I'm not playing Street Fighter 6 at the moment either, because I just wanted to chill. Because I'm going to be on Street Fighter 6 later tonight anyways for Sagat. That's right, I haven't started this season of rank for Fall Guys, which doesn't really matter. But I'm also not doing rank at the moment, because there's some other mode that gives me more crowns. Hopefully you guys do. Fall Guys seems like a fun game to get back to. Yeah, it's something I just play time to time, but I usually have a chill time whenever I boot it up. Our flight, thankfully, I think they were saying something about it. We were going to land sooner than expected and all that, so the flight was pretty smooth, all things considered. It was pretty chill, all in all. Okay, geez, somehow. I thought I didn't make it there. Yeah, it's also a bit. Damn, only 3 of us made it. Yeah, this week. Hmm. And we're still not in the finals despite that many people getting eliminated. Anyways. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, well, thankfully I do have today off work as well. At least for the fact that I did make the plan ahead of time and all. Otherwise, I'd be tired as hell at work if I tried to go today. That was easy. I'll take it. By the way, don't ask why I have over 2 million kudos and all that in the corner to where you can't even see the two on the top right. I used to grind this game a lot during COVID. This is pretty much before my FGC days and all. Way before. Anyways, time for ranked. But, okay, anyway, so I guess just an update. I know I've told some people why I haven't been streaming. Which, it was just pretty much to grind for. It was pretty much just to grind for Evo and all that. Which, around the time, pretty much after I finished Expedition 33, there wasn't any game releasing that I wanted ASAP to play through. And not to mention, none of the games I had in my backlog really sparked interest in me trying to play ASAP, so I figured at that point, I was just really going to focus on Street Fighter 6. Grinding that. City of the Wolves would be like on the side and all. But I was pretty much set on trying to get practice as much as I can for Street Fighter 6 at EVO. Which, the result ended up being something completely different than what I was planning, but I'll get to that later. Yeah, aside from Street Fighter 6, I was playing City of the Wolves a little bit on the side. Not that I was planning to prioritize that or anything, but it was a game that I signed up for EVO before it released, and I enjoyed it enough to continue, basically. But at that point, I didn't really feel like streaming because I definitely felt like I would have been forcing myself to stream if I did try to stream instead of practice for Street Fighter 6. Not to say that I only played Street Fighter 6. I did that, well, I did a bit of Fall Guys sometimes just to chill, especially when rank happened and all that, with the new rank stuff happening in Fall Guys. I also bought Star Wars Battlefront 2 as well because it was $4 on Steam and yeah, $4 on Steam, and I didn't own it anymore on PlayStation because I don't have PS Plus anymore. So I was doing a mixture of those two things, watching anime, and just sort of just getting going on my day-to-day life without streaming. Pretty much all of that. Watched some movies too, like I watched Thunderbolts. No wait, I think that was before I stopped streaming though. So, but I did watch Karate Kid out of curiosity, but needless to say, that movie was pretty mediocre. I was just curious about it, but it's not a movie I would recommend at all. I did watch Superman, which that movie actually surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. And it's probably my favorite superhero movie as well this year. Also watched Fantastic Four, which I enjoyed. It's not my favorite, but I enjoyed it for what it did well. Here we go. Hmm. Was there anything else that happened while I was gone? Oh yeah, and I actually ended up getting this. Well, I know I said before I wasn't going to get a Switch 2 at all until way later on, but I ended up getting it a month after it release. Mostly because the Street Fighter 6 ports. I was hearing the Street Fighter 6 port on the Switch was actually legit. Surprisingly. Which I did use a bit. I have been using to practice for stuff on PS5. You know, I guess in my case, it didn't really. Well, I guess in my case, it didn't really make. It didn't really make a huge difference for how I did at Evo overall. Which I'll also get into that a bit, but I have been using my Switch 2 a bit, though, needless to say. Definitely more than I have used my PS5 lately, even though I still will use it for some things. Like if I'm like streaming some games and all. But I have actually been using my Switch 2, but that's what I'm saying. And I did bring it to Evo as well. Yo, goddamn, not this final game. Anyways, yo, Bacon, welcome to the stream. Huh. You saw the final match of Street Fighter 6? Huh. That was... So, well, I have a few things to say about the finals of Street Fighter 6, but all in all for Evo, I had a great time, though. all things considered. Let me just... Okay, cool, I picked the right path. Wrong way? Wow, I had it right. Oh well. Had the right idea. But all in all, Evo was a good time. Especially for my first one and all. Well, performance-wise, I'll admit, I'm a little mad at myself for this. It just... Well, for Street Fighter 6 specifically, I was mad at myself just because there wasn't anything wrong with the subs or anything at EVO, even though it was on PS5 and all that. But the nerves definitely hit me when I was playing in Street Fighter 6, which I'll admit I also didn't really warm up enough when I got to the venue. I also didn't get to the venue till like later on, when I probably should have just gotten there earlier to practice beforehand. But I was going with my roommates that I went with, but they were playing later in the day, so I definitely should have just left early just to have gone to EVO instead. Or gone to the convention first to practice and all that. Which, some matches I was doing fine in, some not so much. But the nerves definitely hit me near the end to where I barely didn't make it out fulls for Street Fighter 6. Which, like I said, I was more upset at myself for letting the nerves get to me, but like I say, all things considered, I could have done more to prepare instead, but that's just sort of a learning lesson for next year and all that for EVO. It was a good experience, and then ironic, the crazy thing about this after was I entered Fatal Fury, which this is the game I had the least expectations for myself, and I was just thinking I would probably maybe at best barely make it out pools. But for some reason, after Friday, I actually made it out round 1 pools and got my Chipotle card. In the game I practiced with one friend last week, only once. And I was just doing games just to feel warm, just to at least put in time to play, but somehow I made it out pools there. Which I guess, maybe it's because of the fact that I understood how it was like to get eliminated. Maybe it was because it was after I got eliminated in Street Fighter 6, to where I understood how it's like to compete in this kind of event now, but ironically, the way I got out was funny because I did play my matches, and then even though I lost to someone to the top seed of my pool on winner's side, I did proceed to leader side to where I was one match away from getting out round 1 pools, but for some reason the opponent I was supposed to play against, the moment I plugged in my controller into the PS5, for some reason my opponent just unplugged, and then he told the pool captain to DQ him. So I ended up making it to round 2 pools that way. Somehow, for some reason. But I'll take it because I was able to get out pools that way. Oh, there goes one person. And then we had the second day where since I made it out round 1 pools, I didn't have to play on Saturday for City of the Wolves. Not Street Fighter, which most of my friends pretty much qualified for. Me and a few others didn't make it out, but most of my friends pretty much made it out the pools for Street Fighter 6. All that said, I did get to the venue a little early, I did get there early to make sure, like, watch my friends compete since they had early pools, and because I wanted to try out stuff at the booth/exhibitors too. Because, like, since I wasn't competing in Street Fighter 6, I just figured this was the one time I could actually go do something on the side that's not tournament related before I have to compete later. So I tried out Sagat and in Street Fighter 6 early. And I tried out Ken and Fatal Fury just to try things out. And I visited one of my friends at the Artist Alleys before before I went to watch my friends and such. I was also playing at 1 p.m., so I didn't have to get there early, but I just wanted to do other stuff that I knew I wouldn't have been able to have done if I was in Street Fighter 6. Then after a bit of time passed, it was time for me to play Fatal Fury for round two of pools, and this is pretty much me running on an energy bar and Red Bull, because I didn't really feel like getting breakfast for some reason. For some reason, though, I actually made it all the way to round 3 of pools for City of the Wolves, so I was pretty much in top 96 of the entire tournament out of 1,500 players for Fatal Fury, which there were a couple of DQs in the pools. My path didn't have as many though. Except for the one where like I said, one player DQ'd because the moment I unplugged the moment I plugged in my controller. But yeah, somehow I got to round 3. Oh, I made it to... Well, I had a lot of close games, so it wasn't easy anyways for me personally. But I was amazed that I somehow made it that far. In Fatal Fury, when I definitely felt like I shouldn't have, but because of that, I ended up making it to round 3 of pools. I even got my Chipotle bag, which I did want to try to make it a goal to get to round 3 of pools at EVO. I just didn't expect it to in the game I barely practiced. But then once I started round 3, yeah, once I did start round 3, I'll admit, I did get bodied. I got bodied once I started. But despite all things considered, I did get 65th at that tournament for Fatal Fury. Oh shoot. Okay, phew. Somehow gotta qualify. Sometimes it happens that way. I guess so. Which, I guess I learned anything can happen at EVO. But yeah, somehow qualified all the way. Like, the game I barely practiced, somehow I pretty much got to all the way to top 96 of the tournament. So, even though I was upset at myself for not doing as well in Street Fighter 6, somehow I ended up doing well in Fatal Fury instead, which I'll take it. I'll take it at least. But yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up being really bit. Well, I thought I would have been eliminated ASAP in round 2. I ended up being busy till Saturday evening because of how far I got in Save the Wolves. I was also sort of relieved when I got eliminated in round 3 because, like I said, at that point, like I said, I was still running on basically an energy bar and Red Bull for almost 12 hours, I think. Almost 12 hours. So the moment I got eliminated, some of my friends who were watching me during round 3, they pretty much laughed when I was like, when I pretty much said finally I could get some actual food. But I did appreciate the people that did come by to support though. Or the friends that were able to come by. Anyways, anyone's playing for that 17-year-old kid for Street Fighter 6? Oh, Mickey. Mickey. Man, Mickey had a great run at Evo to say the least, which I had no idea who he was prior to watching Evo, but I did look at his results while he was making his run, and it's crazy. Like, Evo's actually his first international event. I think it's his first offline event in general, because I was looking at his results from previous tournaments. He was pretty much only doing online events at that point, which I'm assuming he just didn't really have the opportunities to travel and such around that time. But even with the online events he was doing, which he was doing online events that mattered for the Capcom Pro Tour stuff and all that to get into Capcom Cup, even though he didn't really qualify for Capcom Cup previously, he was always placed a really high in his region's World Warrior tournaments, to where you really could not sleep on him. I'll get out, son. You're drinking his age? They start young, I guess. They start young now. I thought that you can make money playing video games. Crazy. Back in my day, or back in our days, people would definitely tell us we'd be crazy to throw away our careers. Or throw away our livelihoods for focusing on that. Which, to an extent, I'll acknowledge that our current economy is too unstable to, like, rely on it as a living solely. But it's definitely not impossible. But back in my day, people would pretty much tell me I'm crazy for doing that. Full-time streamer content creator? Say. Even content creator feels that way for you. Oh yeah, 100% for sure. Since regardless, like, if you're competing or doing content creation, it's definitely a risk to take to, like, prioritize that over, like, having a steady income and such from a job. Which, yeah. Anyway, it's too unstable, or to where only a few people would really have that opportunity to do that for a living. And that's fine. My mercy the games are the current trends. That is also true. Either you have to keep up with it to have steady income, even if it's a game you don't particularly like / care about, or you play what you like and care about, but you're not going to really generate that income and such. Okay, that was a mistake. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that either. That's why it'll forever be a hobby for me. Even though I still enjoy it. Enjoy doing them and such. No, oh yeah, but speaking of, on another note with Mickey, well, it's funny because apparently he was skipping the intros of, or entrances of of Street Fighter 6 when after they picked their characters, because the audience was, I was watching the streams. I wasn't able to watch in the arena, unfortunately, because my flight was around the time it started. But here in the arena, boo him skipping the entrances was pretty funny. I hate video games, which you don't want to do. Same here. Same here. But yeah, either way, Mickey was dope with what he did. Hey yo, Pac, welcome to the stream. You missed me? It's fine, you have Sensei, you don't need me. And Zell to a degree. You know you hate Zell sometimes. But what's up, Pac? You're still on summer break, right? Which, by the way, Pac, don't get your hopes up. I'm still not sure how my streaming schedule is going to exactly be for the rest of the year. I'm not exactly back yet, but just because the reason why I took a break from from streaming is pretty much over for now. I figured I might as well do a stream here, especially since I have today off. You banned out of love? Hey Lily, are you seeing this? I think your husband needs some re-education on what love actually means. I'm just saying. Summer vacation still, all you been job searching? And that's fair. I get that feeling. Job market confusing, to say the least. For the kind of job you want, right? I can see it. But yeah. So just right now, I've sort of just been talking about my experience with EVO, which TLDR, Street Fighter 6, the game I practice for. I definitely felt like I really lost to myself with how I wasn't really able to handle the nerves and all that. Especially when I was like just on the verge of getting out of pools. But then Fatal Fury Save the Wolves. The game I only practiced once last week with a friend because I figured I don't really have as many friends that played this game. I figured he was the one friend I knew that he does play multiple games. I figured it'd be good to ask him to play games. Just cause. And needless to say, that somehow ends up being the game I get the furthest in. For some reason. Hey, I'll take it for getting the Chipotle card and Chipotle bag. At EVO specifically. I will gladly take that for that reason. God damn it. I didn't expect to get hit by that. Could still do that though. But then needless to say, after I got eliminated from Fatal Fury and got 65, that was pretty much when I was able to enjoy the event itself. To treat it like a convention, which there was a time EVO was pretty much just a tournament and maybe like one or a few booths around, but it wasn't really a convention like booth. So pretty much 3 years ago. So I was able to go to the artist alleys, spent my money there after being eliminated from the tournaments. Visited some booths, tried some things early. Well, I was just vibing with my friends and such. Anyways, apply for engineering, but you get rejected. I thought engineering are for college students to build skills, though. It might be because of your path in college, but but should that really deviate me from the position? I guess. There's a. I mean, it's. I mean, the internship process is for better or worse. It's pretty much like if you're applying for a job at that point. Whether you meet what they want or not is another story. But I get it though. That feeling sucks. I'm not sure what kind of internship you're applying for though. But either way, I get it though. But well, I think I mentioned it before, but I actually didn't really get any internships when I did apply for internships, but either I don't hear back from them at all, or I get straight up rejected. Which, granted, I think well, I guess going back to another point, it sort of sucks that, like you said, you're trying to get experience in the workforce and such by applying for these internships instead of going straight into the field. But then you need some requirements for these fields, which you don't really have unless you had some connection prior to get experience as such. Which, I mean, you probably already know that by now, but it's even for internships, it still applies for better or worse. Probably for the worst, all things considered. But yeah, the best I could say is just like, you really just have to keep going regardless. Even if you have like some decent education background, or even job experience, or you could be qualified. It's There's a lot of luck involved at the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say. Eh, that's been going on with you lately. And yeah, it's brutal, unfortunately. And oh yeah, that's sort of also how I felt when I was on summer vacations and I didn't do summer classes, which, granted, that was only once, or actually after summer classes were done. Just because I felt like I wasn't doing much, or I wasn't really being as productive as I could have been. Which is a frustrating feeling for sure. Which, like I said, you're not alone in that feeling. Basically, is what I'm saying. And it sucks to feel that way too. Oh wait, they made it further now. Okay, I guess I have to wait from now on. That's fair though, because I was abusing that a lot. I don't even lose points anyways at this point. Rank points. Oh yeah, but Evo though. So yeah, I was talking about how after I got eliminated on Saturday, Sunday was, aside from Saturday evening when I was able to hang with friends and chill. Oh yeah, Saturday night, I think my friends went drinking and gambling at some some casino. In my case, I was way too tired since I actually played the. I had to wait the long. I was pretty much playing the long. I ended up being the one that played the longest because I made it to round 3 pools of Fatal Fury. A few other friends made it to round 3 pools of Street Fighter 6, so they had to play for a bit too. But in my case, I was at the venue longest to have to compete, just by the times and such. So I was pretty much ready to knock out the moment I got back to my hotel alone, while everyone else was partying, which I think that was a good thing in my case because I don't like drink. I don't drink, and I considered gambling, but then I was thinking I should just use this money for the artist alley instead. Even though I could have. So that's what I ended up doing on Sunday since, well, I was waiting for my roommates to get ready and such. Which, they took a long ass time to get ready since they got home at like 3:30 in the morning. They got back to the hotel at like 3:30 in the morning, and yeah. While I was back pretty much at I think I got back at like 9. I missed it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I got back to the hotel at like 9 p.m. So pretty reasonable time. I was also just chilling in some streams and doing my own thing before I went to bed, basically. But yeah, and then Sunday was pretty much gonna be a day where I visited more artist alleys. Or I went to visit more artist alleys, hanged with a few other friends that I haven't seen in a while or haven't met at all. Did some casuals with some strangers, with people I haven't played against before. And then just helping them out with stuff if they ask questions and such. I didn't really get a chance to play against any of the pro players, but, well, in my case, on Sunday, I did go to the arena to watch Fatal Fury say dual top 8, which I think that was my favorite top 8 on Sunday of the games they had, personally. Even though I don't prioritize the games, I think Fatal Fury ended up being my favorite game to watch. Overall. Fatal Fury. Or if you... Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. A game made by the same people that made King of Fighters. Fatal Furies is a really old IP though, and this is their first new Fatal Fury in like 20-ish years, I think? That was announced 3 years ago. Yeah, Fatal Fury was dopey in the top 8 arena for the first time. Like, I wish I could have been there for Street Fighter 6 too, but unfortunately, my flight was leaving Sunday night. So yeah. I couldn't stay for Street Fighter 6, unfortunately. You have that, Mounts? I'm not sure which one you were talking about, but I know it's 14 related. But yeah, flew back last night, got home, and yeah, sort of been settling in, getting back to it, and like I said, good thing I took today off work to chill because I definitely wouldn't have the energy to work otherwise if I had to work today. Oh, the pink rhinos? I see. Yeah, all things considered, for my first Evo, I'm really happy I finally got to experience it after over a decade of just knowing it existed and watching it from the stream. I think my only real gripe with Evo is just, at least for my case, was really with pools near the end of the tournament after day one. And I think pools for round one, they were pretty. It wasn't like they were small or anything, and they weren't too big, so in my opinion, they were decently sized at least. But even then, I think like for my round one pools for City of the Wolves and Street Fighter 6, they were pretty much fine, but some of my friends had pools where only 1 or 2 setups were being used. There was like 4 setups per pool, by the way, per game. And there are times where like only 2 were being used at a time for some reason. And then some pools were being held up because there was the chance that the streamers, like, some matches would be held up to be potentially be on stream. Zell wasn't at Evo this year. It's pretty much like it was either AX or Evo, and yeah, he went to AX instead. Maybe someday he'll go to Evo again. I did get to meet up with a couple other friends though. A mixture of friends that I haven't seen in a while, or friends I've got to meet for the first time. Nah, he didn't. He said he wasn't going. That's pretty much why he was at AX. And why I ended up meeting him because he visited the monthly that was happening during the same month and all, during the same weekend and all. I don't think anyone I met you would know though, Pak. I don't think so. I don't think anyone you know went though. That I could have met. Well, actually, I think there was someone Sensei knew, but I didn't know who he was though prior. So I didn't meet. Unfortunately, I did get the chance to meet him. What the hell is that? Look at for trying to grief me, bitch. But yeah, I did get to meet up with a couple friends that I haven't seen in a while. Which was definitely another highlight for me. Mango? Bro, there's nothing for Mango. There would be a game for Mango to play anyways. And I wouldn't know. I don't even know him either. Not to mention he's also banned for a year after what happened recently. From his own events. All things considered. Pretty much had a good time going with my fighting game friends for my first Evo. They pretty much made the trip, the money I spent and trip well worth it. Despite the fact that I didn't do as well as I would have liked to in Street Fighter 6, I'll happily take the fact that I did well in Fatal Fury as as a compensation prize, basically. And even if you weren't there for the tournaments, EVO was actually a really good convention to go to, in my opinion, with how much there was to do in and out of the game. I'll admit though, for my case, it's not an event I would have gone to on my own though, for the price. Probably would have just stayed home instead. But the fact that I pretty much went with my friend group, which, like I also mentioned, there was like 20 of us. Mixture of players and people that just wanted to chill and all that. It was a good time, regardless, from beginning to end. It was well worth it for my first Evo, and what ultimately will have me not only will it have me coming back next year, but I do want to check out other events as well that I've always watched but never been to. That's pretty much the plan. I guess all that said, that sort of just brings up the whole thing about what am I going to be doing with, streaming again, because it has been a bit since I've streamed at this point. So, for the record, I am still going to be prioritizing on competing in Street Fighter 6 and all that, so I don't fully plan to be as invested to grinding or playing through games on stream. There are still games I do plan to stream though. But like I said, in terms of prioritizing backlog and such, that's gonna be a lot less of a priority for me still. Which it was already a low priority ever since last year. And it's like even more so this year. It's probably gonna lessen over time, but I'll still try to make time to play games on stream when I can. As long as I'm in the mood to and such. And I'll admit, so Lost Souls aside, that is coming out at the end of August. Which, it does look very good. I'm excited to play it. I'll definitely do that on stream when I can. Donkey Kong Bonanza I would like to do before the end of the year, which that could be possible. I just haven't gotten the game yet, but I am looking forward to doing that. Which, by the way, like I said, I got Switch 2, so I can pretty much get that whenever. And Puck, that course you're talking about that looks like 14. They have it way beforehand. Just for the record. That night, that obstacle course I did. That was way before the FF14 collab happened. for the record, as someone who has been playing Fall Guys since the game launched. But anyways, like I said, streaming wise, I'm not really gonna I'm still not really prioritizing streaming like I did before. Which like it's something that sort of has it's definitely been more on the side anyways. But there are still things I do want to stream. It's just trying to get to backlogs is gonna be a lot rougher, and probably will have it even less now, which it hasn't been happening much this year anyways, as well as last year, but you know. For all that said, I guess, I was talking about the games I did plan on doing. I did plan on streaming this year, or for the rest of the year now that we're pretty much in August now. So we're over halfway through the year. So Lost Souls Side is probably the game I'd be doing next. Though that won't be coming out till the end of August. So I'm not in a particular rush for it, and I don't really feel like start on anything new. Not so close. Oh well. Yeah, Lost Souls Side, I'll probably do there, and so Trails in the Sky FC remake releases mid-September. Oh yeah, and like I said, this is ranked Fall Guys, but at least early ranks, you don't lose any points if you don't qualify. Not to mention, you don't. It's really only a grind near the end if you don't win crowns. But rank is pretty easy in this game. But anyways, Chosen Sky FC remake, I wasn't planning to do ASAP because Trails Beyond the Horizon was initially planned for this fall. Because I wanted to prioritize that initially. But all that said, during the time I wasn't streaming, a Switch 2 version of Trails Beyond the Horizon got announced. And not sure if this was the reason why, but Trails Beyond the Horizon has a release date of January 15th, 2026 now, which is ironically the day after my birthday. So I'll definitely do Trails Beyond the Horizon ASAP for sure. I probably won't start on an RPG next year to start next year though for sure because I'm definitely not gonna finish it in time before Horizons, but maybe I can start on something short then. Possibly. All that said, because Trails Beyond the Horizon got pushed to January to release, I'm more willing to actually start on Trails in the Sky FC remake this year. Which, like I said, comes out in September, so I'll have time to get through it. Not to mention, knowing the story for Trails in the Sky first chapter, it shouldn't be, like, it'll be a lengthy RPG. I don't think it'll be crazy long. Crazy long, though, because the first game is the shortest of the Trails games. The issue, however, with whether I get to do FC Remake ASAP or not, depends because so Limited Run Games is doing the pre-orders for both the Steelbook edition and the collector's edition of the game, which I know a lot of people are not a fan of Limited Run games for how they do their business. But, you know. Okay, cool. But yeah, so I actually pre-ordered my copy of Trails in the Sky FC Remake Unlimited, or the Steelbook edition of Trails in the Sky FC Remake Unlimited Run Games. Thinking initially that Trails Beyond the Horizon was going to release first, that would have been cool just waiting for Trails in the Sky FC Remake later. Because FC Remake's gonna be happening first. Which, well, I don't really trust Limited Run with the fact that they said their release dates. Let me think about this. Oh yeah, so basically, Trails in the Sky FC Remake. I'm probably gonna stream that. But I do want to wait on my copy of the Steelbook edition from the LRG, which by their dates, it should come like at worst early October. But like I said, you also can't really trust LRG considering their business practices and such. What? So yeah, worst case, let's say if I don't. Worst case if I don't hear back from them, or worst case if I don't get my copy, there's a good chance I just cancel my pre-order on LRG and get the game digitally, like how I did with Expedition 33. Worst case, by the way. But I guess with that said, my next RPG will pretty much be Trails in the Sky FC Remake. But it's gonna be, well, no, Lost Soul aside, then Trails in the Sky FC Remake. And then there's not really an RPG releasing. Well, Final Fantasy Tactics 6 is coming out. I'm not sure if I'll do that though. Not ASAP. Even though I haven't had a chance to play Tactics though, I would like to play it at some point. But I'm more excited for Trails in the Sky FC Remake though. And then for the fall, I think the only game that... Oh no, there is another RPG I do want to do later this year. I'll get to that. But fall, Ninja Gaiden 4, I do want to play that too, which that shouldn't take crazy long. I guess it also depends on how it ends up being, but I'll probably get that. But last but not least, because I have a Switch 2 now, I can actually play Pokemon Legends DNA. Oh, I'm definitely not winning. God damn it. Yeah, I'm definitely not winning this, unfortunately. I know the route though, but I'm not gonna bother anymore. But yeah, I'll most likely stream Pokemon Legends ZNA later this year. Now that I have to switch to. Because I do enjoy playing the Pokemon games, even though they're not my favorite thing ever. But I enjoy it enough. To at least try it out. But yeah, that's sort of just a plan for what I do plan to stream for the rest of the year. There isn't really a backlog I feel like getting to ASAP at the moment. I probably won't, honestly. I guess another thing I can also point out. Because I did get Street Fighter 6 out of the Switch and it actually runs pretty well, I may consider streaming that time to time. Not often, but time to time. Because I do want to practice and all. Yeah, like I said, I'm still gonna be prioritizing competing in Street Fighter 6 and all that, but there are still games I do wanna enjoy. And play with, and play. Yo, Psycho, welcome to the stream. Yeah. Just because it's Evo, I did, and since it got released this later tonight. Hey, now that I'm thinking about it, this is actually the first time you can actually watch my stream at a reliable time, now that you're not employed at the moment. Welcome to Psycho. Just chilling with Fall Guys. Really, since I haven't touched rank this phase, or this season for Fall Guys, which, you know I've told you how this rank is or whatever. But it's some nice incentive to play, I suppose. How's it going though, Psycho? Hope your buddy's been well. Like I said, I was gonna play Street Fighter 6 initially just because I do want to grind those blue colors. But then I realized my grind's gonna get cut short because of maintenance. And I also do sort of want to play around with Sagat more when he's actually out, so I figured I might as well just do Fall Guys to pass the time. Talk about how my Evo was, and so I just talk about my future plans with streaming, which I was saying Street Fighter 6 is a possibility to stream. No guarantees I'll do it often, but it's in the cards at least. It's in the cards. But yeah, TLDR, Evo was dope. Disappointed with how I did Street Fighter 6, but my performance in City of the Wolves hella makes up for that. Which is something I keep telling myself it shouldn't have happened, but hey, it happened, so I'll accept it. Not to mention, there was this thing where like, oh yeah, oh yeah, Evo, they're also doing that Chipotle code. It's text this code to this number to get a possible free entree for Chipotle. Which, I got 2 of them. They might have done more when I wasn't watching Top 8, but on Sunday, but I pretty much have 3 free entrees, essentially. One for from getting out pools that's one from getting out pools for City of the Wolves, and then two from that. So thanks Chipotle. Oh yeah, I also got to see a more. Well, I didn't introduce myself or anything to her more or anything when I was at her artist alley, but she had some chill. She seemed chill with her vibes whenever when she was there when I bought from her. Which I was really buying stuff for her friends, but I did buy one of the Ed stickers she had for costume 3. Hey, volleyball, sick. Oh yeah, by the way, Psycho, I don't think I mentioned it, but when I was playing Sagat at Evo, they did give us some, well, I think I told you we got free swag of sorts, which involved like a poster of Street Fighter League, I think it's either US or EU, I haven't looked yet, and it included some stickers. One of the stickers actually was a Sagat sticker from this, from Street Fighter 6. I'm not sure what I do with it, but I do have one. Yay, free points. Okay, this person doesn't know how to play GG's. You're hearing proper? Okay, you're good, Psycho, yours good. I'm just saying, aside from, like, when I did try out Sagat at Evo, I did get some free swag. Yeah, I'm making sure recapping Evo and talk about how Evo was for me overall. As well as my future plans for streaming. Oh shoot. Okay, you can have that. Take that. But yeah, I was talking while I was trying to get Evo. They did give us some free swag. And like, and one of the things, and a couple of them were stickers in the back they gave us. One of them was actually a Street Fighter 6 sticker of Sagat. Which I'm not sure where I'm gonna put that, but I do have a sticker of it, which, I mean, if I ever meet you IRL at some point, I'd be down to just give it to you. You know that's probably gonna be for a while, but I don't really plan to use it for myself. Unless someone else I know means Sagat, that way I might giving it to them first. But I did meet Amore at her booth, which I wasn't really talking to her or anything, so I just bought stuff from her, but she seemed pretty chill though. And then, like I was also saying, the energy from the top 8 arena from watching City of the Wolves, which, well, at least when I went there after Strive finished, a lot of people were leaving, and I guess there were still some empty seats. There were still some empty seats in the arena for top 8 for City of the Wolves, which, all that said though, that work? After? That is bullshit. But yeah, after Friday and Saturday, well, after being eliminated from City Wolves, I went with a friend to get dinner. Went back to the venue to play a few casuals with friends, and visited the artist alleys for those that were open. Most of them were pretty much closed at that point, so I didn't get to buy a whole lot, but I still bought stuff for some friends and for myself. But otherwise, a lot of my friends pretty much either went drinking or gambling, or pretty much both. The two friends I went with pretty much didn't get back to the hotel on Saturday till 3:30 in the morning. My case, since I chose to neither drink nor gamble, after I was done at the convention, I pretty much said, I'm going back to I'm going back to the hotel. And I got back at what's with this connection error? Playing fighting games wasn't enough gambling? They were probably just depressed and wanted to do something else to either boost them up or take them deeper down the rabbit hole. If I were to assume, and what the hell's with this? But in my case, I went to the artist alley, bought what I could, and then said, yeah, I'm going back to my hotel to rest, which, like you said in our DM, sleep is important. And I actually got back at 9 PM. Okay, let's try this. But yeah, I guess playing fighting games for them wasn't enough. So yeah. I got back at 9, settled in, chilled in some streams while I was able to. Looked up other stuff. I actually went to sleep at a pretty decent time, I'd say. Actually, I'm not sure if I got back at 9. I definitely got back in the evening. Sometime during the evening. After 9 at least. I got way more sleep than either of my roommates who got back at literally 3:30 in the morning. And then I was up early, pretty much ready to go to the venue, but I was pretty much waiting on both of my friends for the fact that they barely got any sleep and such for how late they were out. So needless to say, I was pretty much waiting on them to get ready, and I pretty much ended up going to the venue an hour later than I could have. Look out, like, because we had to check out of our hotel by a certain time and such. So yeah. Since that was our last day staying at that hotel. They held our luggage though, so we were able to go to the venue to do other stuff before we had to fly out later that day in the evening. But yeah, unlike most people's cases where they were either gambling or drinking for the rest of the weekend, in my case, I pretty much hit the artist alleys to get a mixture of stuff for both myself and friends. But then you get, like, friends is pretty much well, there was stuff I did want, but I didn't want to hold on to too much stuff that I didn't have space for. Did you end up learning the 50-50 matchup you told me about? I did. After the first day, I did properly shower after, without having to ask my friends to help me with it. So I'll admit, the shower also sort of sucked though at the hotel. It sort of sucked. Like, the water, there wasn't much speed to the water, unfortunately. Which, maybe it's because it's a mixture of both a bathtub and a shower. So it's hard to get a good shower in. But I was able to take a shower regardless. But I guess the plus side with our hotel, it's not too far from the convention center already for Evo, but there's this thing, I assume well, you may or may not know about the Tesla shuttles that happen at some places. But basically, there are Tesla drivers like near the hotels, and there's this whole Tesla shuttle system, which like a shuttle. It's like a bus shuttle. It's pretty much a bunch of Teslas in the area that connects. Well, except unlike the bus shuttle they have for like at least yeah, unlike the bus shuttles, where I assume they only come at a certain time for you to get there and back. Tesla shuttles, there's usually someone, or at the very least, the wait times for waiting for Teslas. There's no like set periods when Teslas come in and such. There's usually Teslas either waiting for you or you wouldn't be waiting too long for the shuttles on the Teslas. Which it was $12 for a day pass. But all that said, instead of having to walk into the heat, which I'll admit, which I'll get back into that later. Instead of walking in the heat, we were able to take these shuttles that would take like 5 minutes at most to get to get you to your destination, which in our case was pretty much the hotel. Or convention center for EVO. Yeah, I haven't played on this map in a while. Yeah, back to what I was saying though. Tesla shuttles were pretty dope, just because not only they were connected to my hotel and the Las Vegas Convention Center, they're connected to a lot of other hotels. So, like, if you wanted to go to a friend's hotel and such, instead of walking to a friend's hotel and such, you could just take a shuttle there instead, and not walk in the heat and all that. It was only $12 for a day pass as well, so it was pretty easy to do. All that said, I'll admit, when I did get to Vegas, it was like, you definitely would feel the heat. And this is my first time going to Vegas in at least 15 years. Actually, more than 15 years. 17 years, I'd say. Maybe even 18. But legit, even though I was feeling the heat actually wasn't too bad, honestly. It wasn't bad enough to where, like, I was wearing my sweatshirt. I was wearing a hoodie. Not a, like, thick hoodie. It was pretty thin, but I was wearing a hoodie while in Vegas. And the heat was actually pretty tolerable, in my opinion. For me. Not to say it'd be tolerable for everyone, but for me, it actually didn't feel too bad. If it was any hotter, I definitely felt like I would have needed to have taken it off, but I didn't. It wasn't for me. it's like I don't think I told you this, but I was pretty much getting food after I got eliminated and Fatal Fury saved the wolves. The funny thing though is like I didn't tell you was actually when I got eliminated from Fatal Fury. Like some of my friends were actually there to support me since I was the last one in the tournament and all that. But after I got eliminated and I saw them, I pretty much just said, "Oh, okay, phew, I made it." But yeah, after I was eliminated, I pretty much and saw them. I was pretty much saying, "Now I can get food," which, yeah, they were all laughing when they heard me say that. Because they would think I'd be depressed, like getting eliminated from the tournament, but instead I'm like, yes, I can finally get food now. Which, hmm, I just got some chicken tenders, fries, and I got a smoothie from somewhere. 3, 1. Yeah, happy to be eliminated. This shouldn't be happening. Yep. Mainly so I can get food. And yeah, after that, I was pretty much able to enjoy the event after, as a convention goer. And yes, regardless, it definitely shouldn't have happened, but like I said, I'll accept it for myself. Okay, cool. But like I said though, after I got eliminated and anything, I was pretty much able to enjoy the convention, which most of the booths were closed at that point, but some of the artist alleys were still open, so I just visited them. And it's Sunday. I pretty much started off going to the Artist Alley, and then I went to watch Save the World's Top 8, which, that was dope. Like I said, a lot more than I thought it would be. Seeing Koji crash out live though was not something I expected to happen, but it definitely was one of my highlights for sure. But what else happened at Evo? Luigi's reaction was great too, the way he went along with it. Which, he was probably just a mixture confused and all that, but it was hilarious nonetheless. Legit, though, I was really surprised with how much like. I mean, I do enjoy watching Fatal Fury time to time, but I was actually pretty surprised with how enjoyable the top 8 ended up being. Which, like I said, a lot of people did leave initially after Strive ended, and I mean a lot. But the seats filled up really quick afterwards. So it looked like there's still, like, despite the whole image of Fatal Fury at the moment, despite that, a good amount of people still did want to watch. Which, I mean, in my case, like I said, that was going to be the only top 8 I had time for to watch. And all things considered, I'm actually really happy I went to watch it. Strivers. Yep, Strivers. But like I said, all things considered, I'm pretty happy God damn it. But I'm pretty happy I went to the arena, even though it wasn't for the game I prioritized. But honestly, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So I'm happy about that. It also helps that I play it too. And I guess I was also with a few, like, most of my Street Fighter friends did actually was grinding in the casual stations. Which, oh yeah, just to talk about how Top 8 Sunday was, so aside from the arena, all the main streams for the games at EVO, they're very much used to broadcast the finals, basically, so there was no more of that. If you're not in the arena, you can't watch Top 8 properly. DNF never got one. Like, it wasn't announced with the year of release because DNF Duel didn't have a release date. And then even once the release date came out, we were just like, it should have happened this year, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. I think it was a pretty popular side game to watch during the same year, but yeah, never happened, unfortunately. Which, hey, it is what it is at the end. Like I said, the energy for Save the Wolves was really dope. To where, even though it was the only one I was able to watch, I'm glad I did. And not to mention, even though, oh yeah, and I was also saying, basically, EVO main stage, even if you weren't in the arena able to watch it, you were at least able to watch it outside the arena. Meanwhile, Hunter x Hunter is the main stage at Evo France. The party gamers can have fun with that game. I couldn't care less how Hunter x Hunter does there. At the very least, DNF Duel has way better than code than Hunter x Hunter ever will at this point. But that's besides the point. I'm calling it a party game personally. But whether everyone else wants to or not, that's up to them. But yeah. Anyways, so basically, I assume last year they didn't do that with Evo Top 8 Sunday, but this year they did it to where, like, regardless of where you are, you were able to watch the finals. Which I thought that was nice of them to do. But like I also said, I'm really happy I was actually in the arena for Save the Wolves instead. Because that was an experience to be in. One minute has passed. Okay, and then two other friends I know from Street Fighter actually, well, two friends were actually planning to go to the arena early because even though there's a ticketed seating system now, which the ticket was basically they gave you a wristband, and whether you're able to go to the Evo enter the arena or not, depended if you had that wristband. But like two of my Street Fighter friends were planning to go because of City of the Wolves, to go to City of the Wolves just to reserve seats for not only themselves but for other friends that want to come by for Street Fighter 6. Well, actually, that was the main reason why they wanted to initially. But because I was interested in City of the Wolves already, I was thinking, you know what, I'll stop by too, because I actually was lucky to have time to do that when I thought I wouldn't have initially. I could have been playing sets instead during that time for City of the Wolves Top 8, but I'm actually glad I went to the arena instead now because the arena is such a good experience to watch it, especially with the energy during this. And I was able to help reserve some seats for some friends as well that wanted to come later on. So it wasn't just like... Oh yeah, and then for the two friends that came with me, they were pretty much just able to ask me questions if there was something that confused them. So, there's a benefit there. But despite not knowing much about City of the Wolves, they actually really enjoyed it a lot more than... I'm pretty sure they enjoyed it a lot more than they thought they would. So, it ended up being a good time for them. I pretty much left. I left after City of the Wolves finished because... like, Top 8 at that point would have been Tekken 8, which I really didn't care about. And then there was someone else I know that also wanted to buy my Sunday ticket, so I sold it to him after City of the Wolves was over. I'll look at chat in a bit after this finishes, by the way. I hear a resub happen, but give me a second. There goes one. One second. 1 second. Or 36 more seconds to be specific. Actually, I almost choked there. Anyway, they come tomorrow without having to be on that line. Oh yeah, I was able to see some of the demos, some of the demo booths they had with some people playing. I was able to see it, but I didn't stick around to watch though. I was able to see some, but honestly, there were sometimes I also didn't know where the line started either. But yeah. But yo, Wilts, welcome to the stream and thank you for the 35 months. Damn, that's a long time. But yes, Fall Guys. I'm pretty much just streaming because the reason why I stopped, well, oh yeah, and I see your message. You've been MIA? Don't worry, Wilts, a lot of us were MIA, myself included with streaming since I actually haven't streamed since sometime in May when I finished Expedition 33. Pretty much that was just me practicing for Evo basically. Okay, actually, let me try to do rank again. But yeah, because Evo's done and all that, and I haven't been streaming for a bit, I figured I might as well do a stream to just give an update on where I've been and how things have been since I haven't been streaming and what my plans are for future stuff. Practicing Street Fighter? Yeah, pretty much. Because I went to Evo this past weekend and such. My whole reason for not streaming was pretty much to practice for last weekend. And I'm sort of just using today to settle in, chill, and all that before Sagat comes out later. And I've also just been recapping how my experience has been at Evo. Yeah, Brian F. I also did get to meet Brian F at Evo too, but I sent you some pictures of it, Psycho, with the players I did meet. I just made some small talk with Brian F. But he's cool. Same with Viadom to a degree, because he saw my Expedition 33 print and he comments on that too. But Brian F was to talk to with the little I was able to talk to him about. He commented on a print I had that I bought from the Artist Alley, which it's for an RPG I played earlier. The last game I actually streamed earlier this year, Expedition 33. Because he does play other games too, aside from Street Fighter and all. But it was cool to meet the people I was able to meet. But yeah, how's it been for you too, by the way, Wilt? Since I haven't, like I said, I haven't heard from you in a while. It's been sort of just a mixture of going through life and working. I hope everything's been well though with you two, Wilts. Yeah. Oh yeah, JB is alive too. It was cool to visit him because, like, I just haven't had the chance to visit him because I was competing and all that, and he was probably competing as well, so he probably didn't have much of a time to do so either. welcome back, Pock. Keep trying to keep your social life alive. Oh, that's good to hear. Oh, Mass streams now? I'm not sure if I'm following him, but I should check it out when I can, unless he made a new name. The Cammy Enthusiast. Yep, the Cammy Enthusiast. Maybe my enthusiast soon. One second. You miss this game a lot? It's not a game I play often, all things considered, but I do. I miss enough to where I will boot this game up time to time too. Especially because there's a ranked mode now in this game. Not that it's anything crazy, but yeah. Yes. Like I said, Serge has been talking about my Evo experience and future plans to stream, which I still don't plan to stream a lot. I don't plan to be as much of a streamer like I used to be before still, all things considered. But I'm still gonna stream time to time whenever I get the chance / feel like it. Because my priority is pretty much going to grinding Street Fighter 6 and all that. That's pretty much where my priority is. I'll also be streaming a bit time to time. I guess just to summarize how I did at Evo Worlds, as well as how Evo was. Evo was a good time. Performance-wise, Street Fighter 6, I started disappointing myself. Just being one round away from getting out of pools, but I also acknowledge I really... Not to discredit what my opponents did, because they still beat me at the end of the day, but nerves definitely kicked in against me at Evo. So, I ended up doing worse than I wanted to for Street Fighter 6, even though it's not quote-unquote bad. Just disappointing for how I did it. Hey yo, Raph, welcome to stream. The best day of the wolf. Oh. My bad. I'm not even the best. I didn't even place the highest Raph. I'm pretty sure Flaquito plays way higher than me. Like, wait. At least 2 spots higher than me. Who cares about him? Damn. That's fair. What's up, Raph? You're back home now, right? Cause you started driving last night and all that. Nice seeing you this weekend? Likewise, Raph. Likewise. The best free thinking not Hotaru player? Well, to be fair, the other player also plays Hotaru. The other person I know from SoCal also plays Hotaru too, so... Yeah. Got home last night? Okay, sick. That's good to hear. I pretty much flew... Got back home around 9-ish, I think. Since our flight ended up landing a lot sooner than expected and all. But yeah, TLDR, Street Fighter 6 didn't really do as well as I would have liked to, but there's always next year to prepare. And improve my mindset and all that. Knowing what to expect and all that. Fall Guys a fighting game? I guess there are some modes that can resemble a fighting game. To a degree. To a degree. It has obstacle courses like JP. That's true. That is true. There are some obstacles like that. Yeah. So I've just been recapping Evo at the moment of how it's been. Which, like I said, despite well, the performance is sort of its own story, but all things considered, I had a good time at Evo, especially for my first one. Uh, you did well. I appreciate it, Raph. I appreciate it. And having Raph as well as other friends pretty much give me some pep talk after I got eliminated in Street Fighter 6. Also probably helped me to say, well, how I did end up doing in City of the Wolves too. Do people not agree with Grass much nowadays in this game? I mean, I can always do it to people whenever I want to. I'm pretty sure there's still a decent amount that do. I just choose not to, even though I can. Like this. But yeah, all things considered, pretty happy that this year did end up being my first Evo and all that. If anything, it was a little stressful staying as long as I did in the tournament, especially for City of the Wolves. Since, I guess, at least for the round I did play Ultimates, having 4 pools, or having only 4 sets per pool sort of sucked. Because the round 3 pools for City of the Wolves was pretty big. And only like 2 of the sets were being, I mean, not many setups to begin with, and only 2 of them were being used at a time for some reason. Which, I assume for the people on winners, they were pretty much waiting to be on stream. But I'm pretty sure everyone else in losers could have used, if everyone in losers was using the setups, I think it could have passed by a lot quicker, but oh well. Okay, back on this though. But yeah, all things considered though with Evo, I definitely can imagine a time going to Evo without everyone in my friend group that I did go with. Raph and everyone else included. I definitely can't imagine that going to an Evo without them at this point in time. Or any events, honestly. Outside of our locals in SoCal. Oh yeah, there's still people creeping here sometimes too, by the way. At least one person tried to, but failed. Okay, I'm pretty sure that hot dog tried to grief me too. The griefer still exists though, I can guarantee you that. When's Evo? Oh, Evo was this past weekend, Wilts. The first weekend of August. So yeah, it just happened. And that's also why I haven't been streaming since May. But now that's over, I have some time to chill until then. A lot's happened though. A lot has happened. But yes, next year though, it's gonna be in June. Hey, yo, Techno, welcome to the stream. Long time no see as well. I've been at MIA myself because was it hot? Eh? I mean, it was hot in Vegas when I was feeling it. I did feel the heat, but if I be 100% honest, it wasn't unbearable. Even when I had my hoodie on, it didn't feel that unbearable. Which I don't have like, I have a zip up hoodie and all that, so it wasn't like fully covered. But even then, it did not feel unbearable enough to where I was thinking, I can't wait to be back inside ASAP. Personally, it didn't. It was hot though, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't. I did take a shuttle, the Tesla shuttle though, to avoid walking out in the day and evening for the most part at Evo. But like I said, even when I had to walk, it really wasn't unbearable for me personally. Oh yeah, and Tech though, just a heads up, this is not my first time streaming this game. I just don't stream this as often nowadays. I promise you, I actually do stream this game. There was a period I was playing this game a lot. It's not my first rodeo with this game. Shit. And like I said, I'm also just streaming to chill at the moment because well, got back from Evo yesterday. And I'm not really in the mood to grind at the moment, is all. Oh, shit. Oh, it works. Anyways, let me double check. What was the temperature, if you remember? It was like 105-ish. I think the highest I've seen it was like 105 at Vegas. I think. It was in the hundreds, at least during the day, but like well, I was at the Las Vegas Convention Center for the most part, so there was usually AC blasting throughout the day. But even then, it didn't, like I said, it did feel hot, but it didn't feel like, I didn't feel like I was dreading it at all. Oh, hey, we ranked up. Cool. And how is Evo? Yeah, I've just been recapping about Techo, but TLDR, performance-wise, Street Fighter 6, I was sort of disappointed in myself just because that was the game I practiced the most. And, like, I was just one round away from making out fools, both on winner's side and loser's side. But Fatal Fury saved the Wolves. Somehow I placed 65th out of 1,500 players somehow. The game I barely practiced, somehow I ended up doing the better at, but I guess things happen for a reason. I'm overall grateful for how I did at EVO in general, and so more of a life lesson, well, lesson learned instead of beating myself over it, feeling depressed kind of stuff. But it was a little stressful competing, I'll admit, especially with how some pools took time to do. I mean, I mean, I always wish I could do better in general if I don't, once I'm out, but Street Fighter 6, I was just more disappointed in myself just because nerves got to me and all that, but like I said, I took that as a lesson with how it feels at majors for fighting games and all. And like I said, Fatal Fury, somehow I end up doing better in that game than the game I spent my time practicing for. Wait, I don't get it, but I'll accept it because I got really far in Fatal Fury. And all in all, like, after I was out of the tournament, I pretty much had a good time chilling. Mixture of hanging with friends, seeing friends I haven't seen, and just treating the event like an overall convention. Which I had a really good time there, despite... Once I was out, even when I was out of tournaments. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to discredit the people that beat me or anything. They still beat me, nonetheless. But 100% though, at least when I was one round away from getting out for Street Fighter 6, I definitely was pretty much... that was pretty much 100% on me for letting nerves get to me. Which is why it surprised me where the game I didn't practice for, somehow I get top 96 at EVO specifically. Of all things, the game I don't practice for is where I place the highest. But hey, I'll take my free Chipotle card and Chipotle bag for getting to round 3 pools. Next up, TwitchCon. Yeah, that's not happening. But all that said, like I said, EVO was a really good time. Which, like I said, I am happy with overall, though, with the fact that I somehow got that far in City of the Wolves. But despite, not including the tournament and such, the convention was really fun. It felt like there was always something to do at EVO, like a convention, instead of just a tournament. Damn, I almost got eliminated. Which, I mean, to my understanding, EVO before was just the tournament. There might have been a few booths around at EVO, but the tournament was pretty much the main focus for most people. Which is why, at least despite how expensive it was to go to EVO this year, I definitely want to go back next year, for sure, after going to my first EVO this year. Which, like I said, all in all, if I had to go to one thing this year, I'm glad it was pretty much EVO. Look, I got eliminated, I took the other guy that grabbed me with me, so I'll take it. Anyways, I'll be right back. I need to do something real quick. Okay, I'm back. Just had to check on something real quick, but yeah, like I said, aside from the tournament experience, Evo was legit one of my favorite things that, well, I'm glad I finally went to an Evo after I finally went to my first Evo this year. Next game is Lost Soul Side. That's the plan at the moment, but like I said, my frequency for streaming, I'm still expecting it to be on the low, just because I do want to keep prep grinding and all that. It's a little more motivated now compared to before, after attending Evo and such. There's still a few games I will stream whenever they release, but otherwise, I am going to be on the Street Fighter 6 grind. For the most part. But yeah, otherwise, I got to try, like, at Evo, I tried Sagat early, got some nice free swag. Got to try Ken and Fatal Fury as well. And yes, Sagat comes out tonight, well, pretty much tonight, who I will be grinding as well. Just for fun, but he's someone I am curious to learn more about. Or at least get used to. I'm pretty excited to try him. That's fine. Not to, like if I didn't mention it already, I'll mention it again. I also got to go even with pretty much my friends from SoCal that I met at Locos throughout the start of somewhat the start of Street Fighter 6 first, or pretty much during Street Fighter 6 first year, but also throughout its second year, and now currently its third year. Well, pretty much from like the year Street Fighter 6 release, as well as meeting a lot of others throughout last year, and even more this year. Pretty much got to go to EVO with most of them. And I definitely want to do that again, whether it's for EVO or some other FGC events. I am happy I went to EVO regardless. Okay. Well, I guess if anything, I'll admit, aside from focusing on Street Fighter 6, focusing up more on always knowing what to focus on when preparing for big events. Fatal Fury State of the Worlds, I was planning to calm down a bit on that, but I guess after EVO, I don't think I'm in the mood to. I don't think I could even be in the mood to stop, honestly. Because, like I said, it's not. Like I said, Fatal Fury was never going to be a game I'd prioritize over Street Fighter 6. But it is a game I do really enjoy playing. That isn't Street Fighter. A fighting game I really do enjoy playing if it isn't Street Fighter 6. Which, granted, I will admit, this month I'm not entering Fatal Fury at my monthly, because I do want a better schedule actually for that. Because being at my monthly at 4 p.m. and being there till almost midnight sucks, or close to it. So I personally would rather have a better time slot because, well, better time slot for both. At least, no, I could be there earlier for one thing, and then, well, it's just more so because Street Fighter 6 at night takes a bit to run. And yes, anyways, like, as you can see, there's no griefers in this game. I should have just taken him with me, but oh well. But granted, I'm also really early on in rank to where losing doesn't even matter this early. But regardless, though, Wait, you didn't see any Marvel, right? Well, outside of when they showed that trailer during Top 8, like after Strive, and obviously seeing the lines for it, I didn't play Marvel. I didn't really, I wasn't really looking out for Marvel Tokon stuff. Oh yeah, well it's not that one. But I've heard Rivals is a fun game though. I haven't. Actually, I actually might be signed up for Marvel Tokon's closed beta. I don't know if I am though, but I might be because it's through a PlayStation thing. But either way, like, if I get in, I'll try it, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world. Oh shoot. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. I get to upload some games when you played with Jaewon. I did see some content creators did upload their footage. Oh, what the hell is your problem? I did see though. How are you comparing that to the developed play once the game's out? I do think there's potential though with what they showed. I just don't think it's something I personally would play. I see potential in it though. For the kind of game it's trying to be. All that said, though, just wait. Well, aside from wanting to chill and talk about how things happen, I'm also just trying to find an excuse to pass the time till Sagat's out in Street Fighter 6. My barbershop streaming is, maybe in like 30-ish minutes, maybe? Oh, what? How did I not make that? Okay, there we go. God damn it. There you go. I'll admit though, during the time I was away and then tried some of the games in Fall Guys, some of these modes are pretty fun. Or they had a decent amount of stuff while I was away myself. Damn it. Okay. That's fine. Oh, it's not fine anymore. Okay, should be okay still, hopefully. Okay. Hello, Cosmic. Welcome to the stream. Long time no see as well, which, that is sort of partly on me this time around, just because I haven't been streaming ever since I finished Expedition 33. I've been chilling since, well, which I was to prepare for Evo and all that, which, that's done now. All good. All good, how have I been? Today's just sort of been resting up since I was at Evo this past weekend and all. So. Well, today's sort of been just resting up and chilling. After grinding for the past few months and then actually going to Evo over the weekend. Which that was a good time. Yep, this was my first. Yeah, this past weekend was my first Evo. Damn, those things push you really far. Needless to say, it was a good time. Like, performance-wise, I don't want to, like, well, go too crazy about it since I've talked about it a decent amount, right? But TLDR, Street Fighter 6, a little disappointed in myself, but I sort of know why. Or I understand why I didn't do as well as I wanted to in Street Fighter 6. More of a lesson learned at that point kind of thing. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Fatal Fury. Well, even though I didn't do well in Street Fighter 6, I ended up doing pretty decently in Fatal Fury somehow, even though I didn't well, even though that's only the game I play on the side, pretty much did way better than I thought I would have. But I'm grateful, though, that I did do as well as I did. Damn it. This is one of the new final games that they added some time ago. I'm not sure when, but it's a final game. It happens. At least you got something. Yeah, I had your two games. Street Fighter 6 and Fatal Fury, which Fatal Fury I really just signed up on a whim before it released, because it looked interesting to me. I was pretty much willing to DQ out of it, but once the game came out and I played it, I actually enjoyed it, so I was thinking, okay, I'll stick with this on the side of anything. Even though I don't play it that much. I just figured, like, I might as well stick with it, because why not? And then I didn't do well in Street Fighter 6, and I was thinking, I'm in Fatal Fury, I might as well just try, even though I haven't been practicing. And last week I only practiced with one friend. And I think that was the practice well, aside from not doing well in Street Fighter 6 and understanding why I didn't do as well. Well, that's something that the nerves really got to me, as well as having my friends that were with me at EVO pretty much help give me some support after I got eliminated from Street Fighter 6. After they did that, I guess I did the Wolves, I was just thinking, might as well do my best regardless, and I ended up making it all the way to round 3 pools. I got 65th for Fatal Fury, which is basically top 96 range for that game out of 1.5k entrants. Like I said, I'm still not sure how that happened, but I'll 100% take it. Cool, I went with my friends. Must have had any good experience. They definitely made it a good time. Especially having them when mixture of like having them when I didn't perform as well as I would have liked to in Street Fighter 6, as well as vibing with them out at a big events. Maybe I'm grinding the wrong game. We made that joke so much over the weekend. It was all in good fun, because like I said, we're all friends and all that. And we've grown close over time as well after we all met. But if anything, I guess that does motivate me to keep Fatal Fury on the side, because I was planning to sort of stop. I was sort of thinking about not playing it anymore after. Yeah, I was thinking about not playing it anymore after. Well, I was thinking about retiring it after EVO, but after that, I was thinking maybe I should keep playing it. Yeah, but anyways, aside from the tournaments, it's a really good time even if you're just a competitor. or even if you're not a competitor, because without even without the tournament, it is pretty much a convention at that point, which there is a lot to do. Artist alleys, like most would for conventions, exhibitors slash booths of like official developers and such. And I'll go here. Yeah, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, I did some of the special challenges some of the booths had for the games that I played as well. Which Fatal Fury had this thing where if you won 2 games in a row, you would get a special prize or a mystery goodie of some sort, which I did. I also tried out Ken early in Fatal Fury, and yeah, I didn't really check out the other booths since Marvel Tokon. I was not going to bother trying to get in line because every time I got into the venue, the line for Tokon was always pretty much starting somewhere around there. 2XKO, at least the times I checked it out, it was usually pretty busy, so I didn't really want to wait in line again. And Invincible Versus I didn't really care too much about, so yeah, I just really did Street Fighter and Tokon. So, friend, please say not to, but we're going next here for sure. Dude, Evo is a good experience. As a competitor or a spectator. Which, now, after going this year, if I were to go to, like, only one thing again, 100% it would be Evo. For a convention. Outside, like, the local conventions in SoCal. Here, anyways. If I were to go to something, it would definitely be Evo. Oh, oops. Okay, that's on me. I should have just been a little patient, but oh well. Well, it's also fun rooting for my friends as well. But it was just a little ironic though, but because of how I didn't save the wolves, I ended up being the last one to play. Which I also like, which, at least on Saturday when I was still playing the tournament, I was pretty much running off an energy bar, and Red Bull throughout the entire day. So I didn't actually have food for almost 12 hours till I finally got eliminated from Save the Wolves. Hey, Z-Fly, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you. I wouldn't say I'm like completely back yet, but I just wanted to stream to chill after spending the past few months grinding for Evo and all that. Have I tried Ken yet? I tried them when I was at Evo. I haven't tried them in Fatal Fear. Oh, I haven't tried them at home yet. He is out though, but I just haven't felt like beating it up. I'm delirious. Yeah, I was on something with with playing Fatal Fury for as long as I did playing as long as I did on Saturday without having actual food in my stomach. Which, hey, maybe I also needed that to play while playing Fatal Fury Save the Wolves. Maybe I did. Not that I would encourage it, but maybe I did. Come on, god damn it. Okay, we got it. Yeah, like I said, all in all, as a spectator and competitor, Evo was a blast. Well worth the well worth the money I put in, especially because of the fact that I was going with with my friends that I pretty much hang out at locals every week, or at least for most of a month, regardless of which one I end up going to. That pretty much made it all worth it. And anyways. So I know this month just started, but truthfully, I probably won't be streaming again till the end of August. Just because I'm pretty much waiting on Lost Souls' side at the moment to officially release. Almost grief though. Meanwhile, attacking gets Armor King and Lily number 2. Heh, that's true. Oh. For one of them. I'm just waiting for a game to release, by the way, until at the end of August, because there isn't anything I have at the moment, or at least at any time within the week or two that I want to play ASAP. That's really all. I can wait till I'm here, until it's here. Oh, okay, that wasn't too long. Opinion on Blanca? I think he's fine. I don't think he's particularly amazing, but I think he's fine for what he does. Oh wait, what? Now I can... Bro, it spawned so far away the last time I tried, but now it's pretty close? What the hell? But yeah, like I said, there just isn't anything I really care to stream at the moment. Till a game at the end of August releases. Hey, don't ask the two Blancas I know. They're just gonna hella downplay him. Or they're gonna say I'm wrong for thinking Blanca's good. Or decent, even. Which, granted, I guess I'm losing one of those Blanca players to 2x KO. I have no idea how I survived that, by the way. The dog, you were grieving first. Don't you dare grief me. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, and aside from not having anything to really want to stream at the moment, like I also said, I also sort of just want to focus on grinding Street Fighter 6 still. Not only just to work towards next year, but also... Okay. But yes, the grind never stops. But I do want to... I still want to chill with some games though while I can at the very least. That's the plan. Okay, if I remember this routing correctly... Pretty much go here. Jump over here. And yay, I win. But yeah, all that said, I'll be streaming time to time. Hmm. Okay, yeah. I probably won't be playing for too much longer, but yeah. Like I said, I sort of just want to use this stream to chill and talk about other stuff. Where I've been, how Evo was, and future plans and such. Which, today's definitely been needed after after all the grinding I ended up doing for Evo, and also what ended up happening too. This stream's been pretty chill, just to talk about other stuff and such. And I'll think about grinding for once after a few months. Any other major event? I mean, there's a regional happening. At least one regional happening later this year that's confirmed. Actually, it might be just one. Because I haven't heard anything about another regional that usually gets announced around this time. Not to mention, it probably would conflict now because they'd be back to back if they both happened at once. Oh, I guess one funny thing I actually haven't mentioned at Evo. So, just for reference, nowadays I don't have any bathtubs at my place anymore. I'm so used to having just specifically showers only. The hotel I was at was pretty much both a bathtub and shower, and I completely forgot how to trigger the shower in the first place, which ended up being me just not being patient enough after I pulled on something. But man, if I was alone, I probably wouldn't have known how to turn on the shower then. Which, good thing I wasn't. So the shower system also sucked at the hotel I was at. It wasn't that good. It's like, maybe it would have been okay years ago, but nowadays it's pretty much dated. But that was a funny thing that happened. But we conquered it. But yeah, for events, aside from my locals and such, there is one regional that's happening later this year. Which I'll probably register soonish, but the tournament isn't gonna happen until oh yeah, the tournament isn't until like early November, so I got time to register for that. It's just that I want early bird that I would have to register sooner rather than later, but I have plenty of time till early bird's over. Oh yeah, I guess something else I mentioned. So I was considering streaming Persona 3 Reload at some point. Because I do have it, but truthfully, I'd start watching Persona 4 Revival whenever that happens. Even though that's still gonna be pretty far from development. That's probably the Persona game I would want to stream first instead of Persona 3 Reload. So I probably will do Reload on my own time, if anything. But we'll see how things go. Anyways, I think this will be my last round of Fall Guys, by the way. Win or lose. One second, I did see you resub Z-Fly. Oh, fan. Damn it. Yep. Yeah. Oh damn, 47 months. That's almost 4 years. We appreciate the reset though, DeFi. And yes, Persona 4, which I am biased for that game because that is my first Persona game that I actually did play when it came out on Steam 5 years ago. I'm checking it out again. I mean, Persona 4 Golden actually holds up. It's really solid for what it does, in my opinion. It still holds up really well. But like I also mentioned, we're still sort of a ways off for Persona 4 Revival. Like the earliest I could see that release is pretty much during late 2026. But it's probably gonna be later. It could even be 2027 depending on how development is going. Possibly. I see. That's how it goes. I see. Wow. This is pretty crazy, I won't lie. Hey, win on a dub. Can checking it out again after your experience with Three Houses, but you'll see. For sure, for sure. But yeah, 2027 could be the likely time it releases, because it definitely looked, well, we probably shouldn't have gotten the release or announcement this year, but since the voice actors sort of accidentally leaked it, it looked like they sort of just had to make the announcement sooner rather than later. Yay, silver. Which, it's not the highest rank, by the way. I've hit the highest rank in this game 2 times already, but when I played it, and it doesn't really take long. It's pretty much like rookie, rookie, contender, bronze, silver, gold. I don't think you lose points till you hit gold, I think, but you don't lose that much in this rank. Ace, you might lose a bit, but you can still grind a bit on your own to keep increasing rank. Star rank is really where, if you're not winning your games, it's gonna be a grind to rank up to superstar. And then once you get to superstar, you're pretty much at the top rank. I don't think there's any elo system once you get superstar though, so you're sort of just playing for the hell of it. Which, like I said, I've hit it twice already, but it's sort of just something I play whenever I feel like it. But yeah. All in all, today was a pretty fun stream to return to and all that. Like I said, I'm not quote unquote back yet, but it's been nice streaming again today after grinding for Eva and all that. Chilling after grinding for Eva for a decent amount of time and make good progress in this. And yeah, just catching up with most of y'all. Whether I was updating about you or just hearing from you all again. That's been pretty chill. All that said, I'm not sure when I'll be back again. Which, I mean, realistically, it probably would be the end of August for Lost Soul Side. But whether I start on that ASAP or not really just depends on whether I'm in the mood to continue to start on something new, or if I'm in the mood to grind with Street Fighter 6 and such. You missed the Access streams. You only just got here? It happens, it happens. Not to mention, I also had today off work because I knew I wouldn't want to come back to work automatically after and all that. I knew I didn't want to come back to work after Evo and all that. And Street Fighter 6? Well, hey, plus side, since I do have the Switch 2 and Street Fighter 6 on that, there is a chance I may stream Street Fighter 6 time to time whenever I feel like it. I probably wouldn't stream my tournament runs anymore, though, because I usually just want to do that on my own, but if I ever feel like booting up Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2 and feel like streaming, that is in the cards. If I feel like it. Also having I also got new internet during the time, well, I got new internet before I stopped streaming, so that should help a bit. But yeah, when I'm competing, I'd rather just focus on competing. But if I ever do a rank session in Street Fighter 6, I'd be down to stream it time to time on the Switch 2 version, but I'll see how I feel though. Anyways. That's right. Well, the person I did have in mind to raid, they're no longer streaming, so I guess I'll just call here. Which... okay, I guess we both stream... okay, he probably just finished up somewhat recently. But that's fine. Wait, does it run good? So the Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2 is a legit port. I actually prefer it in comparison to the PS5 PS5 game I have, which, granted, I am also playing on a TV, I'll admit that much. Whenever I play my console games, I do play on a TV, which does support 120 Hz, but like I said, it does feel easier to play on the Switch 2 versus my PS5, where I need to have all these settings applied and all that. But yeah. Might need to get it then. It's a legit port, like I said. If you ever feel like it. Could wait for a sale later if it happens, but otherwise Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2 is legit. But yeah. Oh yeah, Z-Fly, I assume you got that recently too. Since I know you were talking about it and all. You were hoping to be fair, it's also pretty early considering this version only released recently. But yeah. It's a legit port, like I said. Which... were you playing on it recently? Not sure if you did, because I think you went live during the night I was during the day I was traveling out. You only did a few games for rank? Okay, but as you see, it's a pretty legit port of the game. I'll say it's taking some getting used to. Happens. Happens. I'm still gonna be mostly playing on PC, but I'll still grind the game on console. Time to time, especially to prepare for stuff on PS5. But yeah. But anyways, regardless for anyone that stopped by, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time whenever that is. Been fun chilling. It's been fun streaming again streaming for not streaming for 3 months. But and like I said, not completely back yet and all that, but I'll be around so at the very least. But otherwise, I'll just update my Discord whenever it happens. But yeah, regardless, for everyone that stopped by, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time whenever that is. But till then, take care everyone, and have a good rest of your night. Peace.